welcome everybody to the celebration of Josephine Antoinette Estill, or as I knew her, Jo. And please make no mistake, we are here to celebrate Jo Estill's life. These Mardi Gras beads are serious business. Jo wanted a celebration with Italian and Cirque du Soleil elements, so that's what she's getting. Oh, baby doll!
Is the audience, can we ask questions about the purple? I see a lot of purple.
Jo wore purple in her courses every day on belting day in the level 2 courses. So purple has special significance.
Well, I can tell that.
We are all part of Jo Estill's family today, whether by blood or sweat or tears, gathered to revel in her remarkable life and legacy. You will hear next from a member of the biological Estill family, Alice Estill Miller, and then several others of us who are part of Jo's Estill family, referring to the Estill Voice Training Family, an international network of singers, actors, voice teachers, voice therapists, choral conductors, voice scientists, physicians, and everyday voice users, whose lives and voices were forever changed by their encounters, brief or prolonged, with Jo Estill. Some of this Estill family are here, others have sent their remarks. You can read many of these testimonials during the reception, where we hope we will hear more Jo stories from some of you. Having first encountered Jo myself on February 10th of 1990, I am the new kid on the block amongst the roster of speakers here today. When I walked into that class in Wellesley College almost 21 years ago and saw what appeared to be a sweet little lady twirling to herself and shuffling transparencies, and then later using colored pens to write on those transparencies, and still later yet, spitting on tissues to erase what she had written. Little did I know what I was in for. 2 hours into her lecture, one that included some mind-numbing scientific plots of lung volume and air pressure, I was hooked. Throughout the years, I would say that I almost immediately got what Jo Estill's voice model and approach to voice teaching were all about. She would argue in public with me present that I couldn't possibly have understood, and we would both end up being right. I did totally recognize the brilliance of her work, and I had absolutely no clue what profound changes would occur in my life, in my voice, as I continued to work with her insidiously simple exercises, those compulsory figures for voice. They would lead me from the voice studio to a degree in speech-language pathology and a position as a professional voice therapist at a renowned voice center in Boston. They would lead me to develop deeply cherished relationships with other students of Jo's here in the States and abroad, several of whom are present here today. They would lead me to becoming a part of the first group of people she licensed to present her work, a vanguard. And eventually, they would lead me to being one of the people took on her business when she retired. I certainly did not get that all this was going to happen in that first encounter with Joe. And I'm going to tell you, my story is not unique. This transformative stuff is simply what happened to people who hung around Joe. It was an incredible blessing to have Joe enter my life. Truly great teachers are rare. Like others here, I became one of her camp followers, attending courses whenever and wherever I could, producing courses wherever and whenever I could. I became a research subject. There are those of us here who share the experience of having one or two endoscopes running through the nose, staring at a monitor, trying to do our best with a research protocol task, while Joe was making sotto voce coaching remarks and jabbing us in the thigh. You got a jab when you did good, and you got a jab when you didn't do enough. She was a remarkable mentor, unrelenting in many respects. I cannot tell you how incredibly generous she was. It was probably around about March of 1990 when I started hounding her with questions. My questions about voice science and the work, and questions from our Boston practice group, one of whom, Judy Goff, is here today. I would write or call, and she would write me back these amazing long letters in reply. I know they took hours to write, because I now find myself writing similar missives. She often faxed them. She loved her fax machines. Email, not so much. These Q&A exchanges would lead to sessions in New York City, and eventually I would travel here to Santa Rosa as she and I worked together towards the development of the PowerPoint slides for the level 1 and 2 courses in Estill voice training. How many times did I hear, "You can't write that"? And I'd say, "But Joe, it's my experience." And she'd say, "We don't have the research, you can't write that." She had the last word. Gotta give it to you, Joe. You were exacting, persistent, precise, an intellect, ear, and eye, both for the big picture and the fine details. I'm not at all surprised you took to quilting. And so shall we. Quilting this program of songs and commentary for you.